Thanks for joining us today on Polk Salad.
We've started the season and had 2 great shows.
Great idea. That's smart.
And we've just settled in quite nicely.
Welcome to Polk Salad. It's November. Elections are just a week away. And we are planning on a full month of Thanksgiving. We have a great show today. We have 3 guests who are going to entertain you and educate you and make you appreciate living in our area. We'll be right back. Greetings. We're here with Sue Teal. She is at the Senior Center here in Monmouth, but it serves more than just Monmouth, serving the Polk County, Independence, and Dallas. But I wanted to welcome you, Sue, and thank you for coming on this show.
Thank you for having me.
We've got some exciting things happening this month, next month, the following month. So tell us what's happening at the Senior Center.
Well, to start with, we are having our expansion built, and it will be done. They tell us we'll have keys in hand by the 6th of December.
Yay.
So we are very excited about that. They're kind of just finishing up. They're painting today. Then we have the floor and the light fixtures and the bathrooms, all the fixtures, and then clean up. So
wow, good.
12 years it's taken for that.
And it's going to include, it's an expansion that almost doubles the size of the Senior Center.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
And I read that there was a column that is now removed.
Oh, yes.
So you have got a big visual of your area.
Yes.
So.
And you know, it almost means more to us than the whole expansion because we've put up with it for 30 years.
Yeah, that big blocked yourself. That's right. That's right. Well, you do things in the building, like classes and resources and so forth. I have a newsletter that you send out monthly. This one's 6 pages of fun stuff that you have going on there. I'm going to go to a couple of them. I think they look super.
Good.
So you have a holiday bazaar coming up. Now, this is the 2nd of November when we're filming. The holiday bazaar is what date?
It's on the 12th.
The 12th. And that should be a fun event.
Yes, yes, we've been having it for a number of years now. It will be a little bit different in that it will not be in our building because it is so dirty right now and everything's stacked up. So the city has graciously let us use Volunteer Hall.
Oh, good.
So we'll be having it over there.
Good. Yeah. And then you have a big thing you do for veterans on the 11th.
Yes, Veterans Day, no matter what day it falls on, we always have a free veterans breakfast. And that is for veterans and their families. We have people that maybe their spouse passed away, and we tell them, come and honor them.
Yeah, that's good.
So we're just, anyone is welcome, really.
Good. And then you have several classes that are taught there. You'll have more classrooms with this area, too.
Yes.
Great. So I was browsing through it. There are at least 20, but you have like a yoga and a Tai Chi and a exercise. And you also have computers. You have tax help when that time comes around. Writing your story.
Yes.
What am I missing? I know that's only helpful.
We have hiking. We have painting. We have line dancing. We just do not want to limit what we do. We have a Spanish. We don't want to limit what we do. We want to try and offer as much as we can because maybe there's only one thing that interests you, but it will get you out of the house and it will get you active. It'll keep your mind going. All those things are very important to us.
That is important.
Yeah.
Meals on Wheels, that's another big part. Tell us what's new in Meals on Wheels.
Well, we're very excited. We have a new coordinator. His name is Paul Ryder, and he is the former owner of Pink House. And he is working on trying to make it, right now we We do not serve meals in the center. They are all sent out. And that happened, probably close to a year ago. We're hoping that we can get it back. Paul is just the person that's going to be able to make that happen.
Good.
So he really would like to see it be a social thing as much as eating. And now that we have space to put things in other spots, then we can devote that space for just the meal site. And he's talking about having things before and after and just making it a really nice time.
Will you continue with the soup and pie events that you put on for fundraising?
Yes, yes. And actually this year we raised in the fall $1,732.
Wow, that's terrific.
In 2.5 hours. Yeah.
Good.
So
Good.
our community loves it. People come in, oh, why don't you do this every month?
And why don't you do this every month?
Well, that would be determined by our volunteers
Yeah.
and people that want to make pie and make soup. And it's quite an event, and it does take a lot of time. So now that we have breakfast starting up again every Saturday, the first Saturday of the month,
Oh.
that's an event for us. And then, we have social times on Friday. One Friday we have potluck, one Friday we have ice cream social, one Friday we have birthday party.
Oh,
So we try and offer the social events. We also do as many things as we can that does not cost. Sometimes people see that we are not charging for something, and they say, oh, well, how good can it be? But we have got volunteers that know how to do things, and
Yeah.
they want to give their time back.
Good.
And so just because somebody sees something that is free, that does not mean it's not good quality.
Right.
Because there's
Well,
wonderful people out
you're
there.
working with an audience on a fixed budget, pretty much.
Yes.
Most of us are. And
Yes.
I wonder if that also applies to your trips. You have several trips planned this month and next. They're reasonably priced as well.
Yes, what we do is we actually charge the cost of whatever it is we're doing, if we're going to a museum or a theater or whatever. We charge the price to get in, and then we pay for our driver for the day, not per hour, but for him to be able to eat and get into the theater wherever it is we're going. And then we charge 55 cents a mile, and then that goes into the city fund because they take care of our insurance, our upkeep. It's through the city, it's through the general fund that we do this program, and it's just turned out to be a time where people can get out of the house. Many move to Oregon. They've never seen Oregon. This gives them an opportunity to get to see our state.
Tell us some of the fun trips that are planned. And they're all full, I understand.
They are.
But if there's enough interest, there may be a second trip planned.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
So what are some of the destinations?
Well, we're, of course, getting into the holiday season. So they always love to go to IKEA for Christmas shopping. Bridgeport Village, we may offer one of those since our IKEA has filled up. We do a senior theater at the Alpenrose Dairy, and that's always very, very popular. That is older adults basically performing for older adults, and it is fun. They have people as old as 100, and people come back. They perform twice a year in the spring and in the fall. And people come back just because they really like someone and they can't wait to see them again. And unfortunately, like everywhere else, not everybody lives forever, but it's just a wonderful time. And we have people that go on their own. It's just a lot of fun. We're going to take them to the grotto. The grotto is up off Sandy Boulevard, and it's very popular. They do a festival of lights. And they have music that goes on continually all evening. Different groups come in and sing. And that's a real festive thing to do.
That does sound nice. That does sound nice. You have one that I think I'm going to just do on my own is the fall, or the drive over by Eugene, west of Eugene. What's that called?
McKenzie.
McKenzie River, yeah.
Yeah, the McKenzie River Drive. We were going to do that for fall foliage. and we decided it was way too long. So because there's so much to see with waterfalls and the covered bridges, that we've decided we're going to make that an overnighter, and then we can spend a little more time seeing the beauty of the McKenzie River.
Good. And I'm thinking fall colors are fading fast. They're prime this weekend, I think.
Yes.
And then the wind blew, and now they're picking up all those beautiful leaves, thankfully. Thankfully. Yeah. So we have a date coming up we want to be sure that people know about. What is happening in January?
January 19th, we are having an open house. And we will be having a ribbon cutting, and we get to show everybody what the community did for us. The city came together, the community came together. We've been raising funds for about 12 years. And with all of that money, they're going to get to see what has happened.
That is exciting. So the history of the Senior Center, it started in 74. The first building was 87. Is that my understanding? How long have you been?
Well, I'm on my 28th year.
Okie doke. So
the building was 2 years old when I came.
Okay.
Before that, they would meet in homes in town, and they just outgrew it. There was 4 men that had a vision. They wanted something that they could call their own. The city of Monmouth gave them the property, and they built it, and then they gave it back to the city, and they rented it for $1 a year until 2000. And then we totally went under the city. The city takes care of all the upkeep and everything now.
Good.
So, but they actually built the building we're in. They started that 30 years ago this year.
Wow.
In 86.
That's incredible. And this edition is not free. This was a $600,000 commitment.
Yes.
And it looks like there's a possibility that it won't cover everything. Things like window treatments, fixtures maybe in the bathrooms. What kinds of things could we use help in? There could be up to a $10,000 shortage, and so you're seeking donations as well.
Well, actually, the project is $550,000.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. And it could be another $10,000. One of the things was a sprinkler system. Was
that's
more
important.
expensive, and that got taken care of. I mean, everything's been taken care of, but you know, when you start doing the fine little things, you know, you find money here and there that's needed. So it could be up to $10,000 that we need. We don't know until the project's completed.
Okay.
But I know the first thing we need to do is buy blinds, because we have lots of windows that let in beautiful light.
Good.
But there's going to be things people are not going to want all that light for. And like we need some things for our computer room, and one of them is a large screen TV we want to put on the wall. We have an iPad class that meets twice on Mondays. It's a wonderful class. Lynn Thompson teaches that. She's been doing that for 7 years.
Wow.
And it's all free. I mean, it doesn't cost anything. And she knows the iPad inside and out, and she shares her knowledge.
Good.
So, and computers, we're going to need a couple computers. We would like to make it so if somebody wants to come in and they don't have a computer at home, then they wouldn't have internet either, they could come in and just, sit at the computer for a while, kind of like they do the library.
Right.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I know you have several volunteers, but they aren't all north of 50. There are a few south of 50.
Yes.
So how does your relationship work with the university?
Well, the university, we use practicum students. We also have a lot of volunteers. Usually just before the term starts, they'll come in, the students, and they said they would like to help. Sometimes they might need some hours for a class, but they're just a wonderful group of students that they just want to give from their heart. And they come in and they're just there when we need them, and they bring so much, because when you are around young people, the older we get, it makes you feel young. And they just have a lot to offer, and it takes pressure off of the older adults to have to work so hard.
Oh, and I know they enjoy it too.
Yeah.
They're far from home sometimes, and probably have adopted the senior center and
Yes.
its group of folks as grandparents and family and so forth.
I think of one individual that is here from Hawaii,
Oh,
and he's even got where he calls us auntie
Oh,
and grandma.
oh,
And I mean, he loves it. He's a real home type boy,
That's
and
nice.
and he loves it there, and he just looks forward to every time he can come.
Good,
And we look
good.
forward to him coming too.
sure. Well, I've enjoyed so much hearing more about the senior center and what's coming up, and I thank you for coming on the show and filling
You're
us in.
welcome. You're welcome.
We'll be right back. And we're back, and this is Michael Finlay. He's with the SMART program. SMART stands for Start Making a Reader Today. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you for coming. Now, you're familiar with WU, and your offices are in the university, aren't they? Or
The SMART offices are actually, the office I work out of is in Salem, but
Oh,
we have
I'm
a
sorry.
program
Okay.
here on campus as well as a couple other programs in the Polk County area.
Okay. Well, you are a graduate
Yes.
of Western.
Yep.
And 2009 is my
That's right,
understanding. And you have a wife and 2 children.
That's right,
and
yes.
A little boy and a brand new little girl.
Yes, just a month old, yes, and she's awesome. She's amazing.
So you've just returned from not maternity, family leave.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So welcome back.
Thank you,
Welcome back.
thank you.
So tell us what SMART is. We'll go there.
Absolutely.
And then we can go to the specifics. So we'll
Okay.
do general.
Yeah. Well, SMART stands for Start Making a Reader Today. We are the state's largest volunteer reading program. We served over 10,000 students last year with about 5,000 volunteers in 270 schools, Head Starts, and daycare programs throughout the state.
That's a big organization.
It
and
is, yeah.
This is its 25th year?
Yes, this is the 2016-17 school year. We're celebrating our 25th anniversary this year.
Wow.
So really excited about that.
And we know it's successful because we have a lot of statistics that have been done. 95% of SMART students show improvement in measures of literacy development. 94% are more confident in their reading skills. 95% demonstrate improved vocabulary. 97% increased pleasure in reading. That is such a big part.
Yeah, and those are directly from the teachers. We ask them how we're affecting their students and how we're helping them in their classrooms. And so those statistics are derived directly from feedback we get from the teachers. One of the things we're very proud about, in 2014, we received the Library of Congress American Prize for Literacy, which is given to only one reading nonprofit throughout the country every year, and we received that award
Fabulous.
in 2014.
Good. Well, I know there are numerous stories about former students who are now volunteering
Yes,
because
yeah.
they recognize the importance
Yes.
of doing that,
Yeah.
and such a good foundation built.
Yeah.
And I see the value in this, and I'm surprised that it's not in every school district. And do you have a focus in areas? Is it like Title I schools or?
We definitely have a focus based on our budget allowances and our staffing is how we kind of make our decisions for how many schools we can serve in a given year. I work in an office of 3, and 2 of us focus on going out to the schools and making sure programs are running smoothly. So part of it is what we can handle in terms of our caseload for sites. And then the other part is just talking with schools and schools reaching out and showing interest.
Good.
We're always happy to talk to new schools. Throughout our history, we have tended to focus on the sites that have the highest need, but we're always happy to talk to new schools about SMART and see if it can be a good partnership for us.
So locally, which schools take advantage of SMART?
Well, we've been in Independence Elementary and Independence for quite a while. We're also at 2 schools in Dallas, Oakdale and Lyle. We are really excited to be working with the Research Institute here on Western's campus to open a new program reading with their preschool students.
And that sounds very exciting.
Yes.
And that's primarily our goal for today's
Yes.
discussion.
That's right, yes.
So start us from the get-go on that. When does this get going?
Well, some of our programs have already started. A typical SMART year runs from mid-October to mid-May. Reading, we typically ask volunteers 1 hour a week. It's at the same day and time each week, and you get to read with the same students each week. So you really get to develop a mentoring relationship with those students. The reading is one-on-one. You read with students in shifts depending on how long you're there, and it's just a lot of fun. They get to develop those relationships.
Good.
At the TRI program, we're still working to get everything finalized and set up. We're hoping to start either later this month or by the 1st of December, and that's fairly typical with new programs and new sites to start a little bit later than our returning programs because they've done it before, and so our new programs, I always like to say we'd rather start successfully than on time. So we want to make sure that things are running smoothly when we open.
I agree. And you have a whole different audience you'll be tapping into, not audience, but volunteer base.
Yeah.
So who are you looking for to help read? We have the students.
Right.
Now, who are you looking for volunteers?
Well, we are looking, we definitely work with students. As an alum, I always love coming back to Western and talking to students about their opportunities to get involved with us. And we've had many students go to Independence over the years, and some go to our Dallas schools as well. But it's really exciting to be able to offer them a program right here on campus they could read at in between classes. So we're definitely reaching out to students. We always love to reach out to people in the community as well. A lot of the time, our retired population is what makes up a lot of our volunteer base because our programs are during school days, during school hours, and so it fits perfectly with that schedule. But we're also looking for business professionals, employees of banks and other organizations that are happy to give their employees volunteer time. So we're always looking for, we want to have a diverse volunteer base, and so we're excited to reach out to anybody that wants to give 1 hour a week to read with a child.
Good. Well, when you're talking about diverse base, I read in the flyer that Grand Ronde is one of the programs. Would you like to tell us a little of that?
Absolutely, and it's been, Grand Ronde has been one of my main focuses the last couple of years. We're reading with the Tribal Head Start, so reading with real young preschoolers out there. I've seen the program in action multiple times. It's so cute to see them read with their volunteers. This year we're really excited. We're going to have tribal employees as well as community members from the tribe be the whole base of our volunteers. We've got a lot of support from the tribe and from the community out there to get that program up and running. We're planning to start in December and read with almost all of their classes there. We're really excited about it.
So each of the students receive a book as well, don't they?
Yes, they receive
more?
2 free books every month to take home to build their own personal
2
library.
a month?
Yes.
Wow.
And these are brand new popular titles that we get from major book vendors across the country like Scholastic and other big book vendors. And these are books that kids really, really want and are excited to take home.
Good. That is so neat. So if you want to be a volunteer, how do you go about that?
Well, there's a couple ways. One, you can call our office and ask us how you can get involved. The quickest and easiest way is usually to go to our website at getsmartoregon.org. You can click on the volunteer.
We'll have a scan that runs, a crawl that comes across.
Perfect.
Okay.
Getsmartoregon.org, and you click on the Volunteer Now button. You fill out our application, and we give you a call, and we get you placed at a site.
Good. So it's one of those funny things. I was at lunch with Cornelia and Jen.
Yes.
And Cornelia is Jen's mother-in-law, Jen Columbus.
That's right.
And she has to go through the process too.
Yes,
Even
that's
though,
right.
they knew each other fairly well.
Right. Well, and all of our staff, we get encouraged to read at sites as well, and so we go through our background check. It's, for us, the main key is that we're guests in the school, so we want to keep our kids safe and make sure that every volunteer that comes into the program is committed to helping us do that.
Good. So what's happening on the 25th year that's special? There have been so many accumulated things, but we have something that's unique.
Yes. Well, we have been so excited about this. This has been in the works for a while. This is a work of a lot of people. A lot of people have been putting in a lot of hard work to make this happen. It's Oregon Reads Aloud. It's a book of 25 short stories from local authors and illustrators. All of the authors and illustrators are here in Oregon and contributed to this book. It's our 25th anniversary celebration, and we're really excited about this. It was published in mid-October, and what we'll be doing is we'll be trying to schedule some events and some celebrations at local bookstores and places throughout the state to really get the word out about the book, and hopefully do some book signings with the authors that wrote the book as well. But it's just it's a fantastic book, just such a diverse group of authors and illustrators, wonderful pictures and wonderful stories. We're
And
really
what a tribute.
So
it feeds, feeds off of Oregon.
Right.
Feeds off of literacy.
Yep.
Feeds off of age appropriate.
Yes.
And it feeds off of volunteerism.
Yes.
So everything just melded together. That's a perfect thing to celebrate 25 years.
One of the keys, especially with our program serving pre-K through third grade, is that we wanted the stories to be stories that could be read aloud, because that's the biggest part of our program is reading aloud to kids. So.
And who are some of the authors?
We have a few local authors. Gina Oshner is one that comes to mind. She is local to Salem, actually also teaches out at Corban University, and she has been a great supporter of SMART. She's one of the authors. Good. I believe there's at least 4 or 5 in the Maren, Polk, including Yamhill, and then we have some authors out at the coast as well in the Tillamook County area from our 5 counties that we serve out of our office.
Terrific. So this being the 25th year, we've touched on volunteerism. How about donations and how to be involved in other ways? What else would you like to tell us about that?
Well, what we always like to say is because of our relationships with our national book vendors, we're able to buy most of our books for about $2 to $3 a book. And like I said, these are brand new popular titles. If you know Pete the Cat, he's a very popular cat with the kids. And so those are the types of books that we can get. And so a donor interested in helping SMART out could give us $35 and buy books for one child for an entire year.
That's awesome.
That's 14 brand new books that they get to take home because of the $35 that a donor gave.
Okay.
And we're always looking for interested businesses and individuals in the community that would like to help sponsor schools as well. There's a way that you can sponsor a school and help support and make sure the SMART program happens at your local school.
Oh, good. So then if I wanted to do that and I wanted it to specifically be for the children here at Western in the program, I can specify and do that?
Yeah,
awesome.
Absolutely.
And I assume I go to the same
website, or like I said, you can give our office a call, and I'm happy to share that phone number. We are happy to talk with anybody that's interested in either volunteering or donating and finding out more about our program.
Well, this is such a great program. I know that a press release will be going out soon with the Research Institute involvement, and I look forward to reading that. But you heard it here first, folks. So thank you, Michael. Thanks for coming on the show.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, and we'll be right back. We're here today with Maren Anderson. She's an author we've had on before, and we so enjoy having her. She's here to share with us a new book she's written, or actually, well, I'll let her tell you.
Okay.
Welcome, Maren.
Hi, it's nice to be here.
I'm glad you came on. Tell us about what you're doing now.
Well, what I have done, and I will hold it up, I have this new old book, and I call it the new old book because this is the first book that I actually finished, the first novel I ever wrote from start to finish. And that was back in 2008. And I self-published it in 2012, I think, and just mostly to prove that I could. But the thing about this book is that it's based on the Lysistrata. And the Lysistrata is an old, like ancient Greek play by Aristophanes, who's a comedian. And it's about some women who got sick of a war and so then started a sex strike. And so the book is a woman decides to run for president and then accidentally calls a sex strike to end a war. And so
this is back in 2008.
This was back in 2008,
Okay.
right? So things were a little crazy, but they were not crazy like they are today. And so back in January, I was sitting around thinking about this book for, I don't know why. They're like your kids, you think about them every now and then. I'm like, this would be a really good book to have now. And so I called up my publisher who did my Fuzzy Logic book and said, would you guys be interested in this crazy book? And they're like, yeah, we should get this out as soon as we can.
Just perfect timing.
Yeah.
Perfect timing.
It's good.
Well, you've abridged the title. It used to be Liz Stratton closes the store.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So the original. Now it's closing the store. So the original title was Liz A. Stratton closes the store because it's a pun on Lysistrata. And
I didn't pick that up.
Nobody did. There were like maybe 4 academics in the entire country who would say, wait a minute, that sounds familiar. And so it was really long and it didn't fit on the cover very well. So we just truncated it. And so closing the store is the kind of the important part anyway. So now it's closing the store. It got a new cover, which I like a lot.
Very politically correct.
Yeah, very politically correct.
Even if the insides aren't.
Well, the other thing is that it's a lady, see?
Oh,
and you see, no one gets that either. So.
I'm subtlety is not my strong suit.
I am too subtle, apparently, because this, everybody who knows what the inside of the book are like, oh, that's a sexy, wonderful cover, and everyone else is like, oh, you've got a flag on it.
Well, I was telling my friend Ann Scheck about this story, and she goes, that sounds a lot like Lysistrata. you remember your Greek farces?
That's right.
And she said, well, yeah, doesn't everybody?
Exactly. Well, that's the world my head is in.
Yeah.
So, we decided to re-release the book, and we gave it the new cover, we gave it a new edit, which it really needed an edit. If you're going to self-publish, pay someone else to edit your book.
And I remember, you told us before when you were on the show, that this was NaNoWriMo?
Yeah, NaNoWriMo is what
NaNoWriMo, which stands for?
National Novel Writing Month. And this is day 2 of this year because it's November 2nd. And so the way that this worked, and this is the reason why I finished this book. So NaNoWriMo is where I say hundreds of thousands of crazy people get together online and pledge to write 50,000 words in 30 days, which, if you're counting, is 1,667 words a day.
What?
Yeah, I can do that in an hour and a half if I have a head of steam. Most people, it takes more than that because it's difficult to make yourself move your fingers.
Yeah, discipline.
Yeah, it's discipline. It's also a different mindset because you can't write 1,667 good words in an hour and a half. You can write that many words.
So ramble.
Yeah, exactly. It's a way of making yourself write fluidly and just getting the words on the page with the idea that it's going to be a big old steaming pile of nothing that you then get to carve and edit and make into something.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So out of that numerous pages, you knock it down to about a fourth, maybe.
Depends on the person. 50,000 words. This book is actually 68,000 words. I had to, because a typical novel is that you'd pick up at the store is probably 70 to 90,000 words. Oh, so most people have to add after NaNoWriMo. But yeah, there's a lot of garbage that you cut out, but then you add and you cut and you add and you cut and you add.
So this being November in NaNoWriMo, are you writing anything now, or are you strictly promoting?
It's hard to do both. It is.
Yes.
I'm not participating in NaNoWriMo as a writer per se. I'm not writing something new, but I have a book that I wrote over the course of last year that was such a hot mess, I put it in a drawer and said, I'm not going to look at this for several months.
Oh.
And so NaNoWriMo for me this year is I'm taking that hot mess and I'm combing it out and making it into, I'm doing a second draft, basically.
Good.
And I like having a deadline and a timeline to do stuff in. And writing and editing are different, but I'm counting it because
Is that going to be a sequel to Fuzzy Logic? Or?
no, that one is completely different. That one is based on the myth of Lilith. Lilith was, in Jewish tradition, was Adam's first wife.
Oh.
She was made of the same stuff as Adam, the same mud or dust or whatever God made him out of. And so she was his equal, and equally opinionated and equally demanding and she got on Adam's nerves. He had God throw her out of heaven, out of Eden, and then they made Eve out of Adam's rib. And Lilith didn't take it very well. So this is a modern reincarnation of the Lilith and Adam and Eve story.
How interesting. Wow. Well, okay, let's do a little bit of a review.
Okay.
You teach here
I
at
do.
Western. What are you teaching this quarter?
This term I'm teaching online 2 classes. One is the Introduction to Literature in Fiction, and one is Introduction to Literature in Drama, in which I teach Alyssa Strada.
Okay, good. Then you also have children.
Yep, I have one almost 6 and one almost 5. 2 little girls.
Good. And the almost 5 wouldn't, well,
I'm sorry,
6.
almost 6 and almost 8. I'm sorry.
Okay, so they're both in school?
Yes, yeah, they are.
Okay, that gives you more time for...
It does.
Yes, it does. Surprising. I have 2 daughters with 5 grandchildren, and they're all anticipating that first day of school, so they have free time. But
Yeah.
okay, and then because you have all this free time, you have an alpaca ranch.
That's right, you know.
So you scoop poop.
I scoop poop. Yeah, that's why I was a little late this morning, because I still had to scoop poop. And we have a pair of donkeys too, so I had to feed the donkeys.
You do?
I love donkeys.
Oh, fun. Gosh. Okay, so briefly tell us about closing the store. Because a week from today is election day.
That's right.
By the time many of you see this, you will have a new president. And does Liz win the election, or is that part of the...
I can't spoil it.
Okay.
But I can tell you that she is successful in several of her endeavors at the end of the book. So it has a happy ending. It's a comedy, so it's got a happy ending.
Sure. It's a terrific concept and very, very timely.
Thank you. Yeah.
Now, there was a promotion of your book as well as Teresa O'Neill's book, and that was just last week on campus.
That's right.
Do you want to tell us what happened there?
Sure. That was my friend Teresa O'Neill, who's actually also she's an alum of Western Oregon, and she's also an alum of the English department. She's written a book called Unmentionable, a Victorian's Lady Guide to, I'm going to get this wrong, love, sex, and marriage, or manners, something like that. And if you get a chance, you pick that book up too, because it is freaking hilarious. The content is not all that funny, because the things that happened to women in Victorian times are just, they're horrifying. But fortunately, Teresa has a fantastic sense of humor and is this sort of time-traveling tour guide that leads you through. And it's like, you think that you're going to, if you're going to be a Victorian lady, you're going to sort of float through the rooms and everything's going to be, but you don't bathe. Your underwear has no crotch in it because you have to squat over a pot, and go on and on and on. So we decided to get together, since our books came out at the same time, and have an afternoon of sex and politics, where I read 2 or 3 passages from my book, and then she read a passage from her book, and it just sort of all gelled, and it was I blushed from here to here every time I read this book, the whole time. And then while she was reading, I was blushing some more, and it was awesome.
It was well attended too.
Yes, it was.
And you had fun. That's a big part of it.
That's right. Yeah.
Great. Well, I'm so glad you came on the show, and I look forward to reading your book. And tell us where we can order it?
Well, you can. It's at our bookstore. It is at Rick's Place. It's at Reader's Guide in West Salem, or you can get it at the normal online places.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much for coming on, Maren.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back. Weren't they terrific guests? It was so enjoyable today. I'm glad you joined us. You can see this show on Wimpeg Channel YouTube, the MyNet Channel 718, and of course our Facebook page, Polk Salad, a bounty of conversation. Until next time, we'll see you around town. Thank you for joining